What's up? It's Cherith, the Starry-Eyed Tarot Reader. Today I'm going to be continuing my tarot deck collection video. I'm talking about 3 decks today. They're some of my more modern decks. One of them is a little bit newer to my collection. But we'll go ahead and get started with the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. So this is the mass market version. I have altered mine. I edged it. And this like green color to try to match the green of the backs. I think I did a pretty good job considering I can't see color properly. So as always, with the deck collection videos that I do, I'll be going through my favorite major arcana, and then one each of my favorite from the minor arcana. This one will have a couple of honorable mentions. So let's get started. Sorry if I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since I've recorded a video. Some life updates will be coming later. I was going to do it in this video, but my ring light and my phone holder is currently not working entirely properly, so I'll be recording that later. We'll go ahead and get started on my favorite major arcana from this deck. So my first favorite is the High Priestess. And I talked about this in a recent video. I think it was 21 favorite, or my 22 faves. A video I did where I talked about all of my favorite major arcana across my decks. The High Priestess is one of those. I like the way that she's got her eyes closed, but you can also kind of see her eyes. It's sort of a like all-seeing type of vibe to that. I really like that. I also like the way the energy seems to be flowing around her head up here, and the stars in the back. Of course, I love stars. Any sort of galaxy theme to any cards I'm in. So that is my first favorite on that. My other favorite is the Moon card. The guidebook for this, I can't remember what it was. Something in the description just really got to me on this one. And it's just absolutely beautiful the way this is illustrated with the person falling in, kind of falling under, going under the water a little bit there, with the black and the white dogs on either side and that full moon there. It's just absolutely gorgeous and strangely peaceful. My favorite Cups card in this deck is the 5 of Cups. Typically this is a sad card and it is kind of melancholy, but there's something about the way that Chris Ann illustrated this that I think is really beautiful. She's got her foot there, and whatever's in that bowl is falling out anyway. You got these 3 empty ones over here, and then that one behind her. Still, there's still hope. My favorite Swords card is the Knight of Swords, for a couple of reasons. My family does a lot of, they ride motorcycles. I don't ride motorcycles, but they do. And I like that this knight had the energy of that, the way he's like following this, looks like a crow up here, running towards the bike. He's about to jump on that and just, fucking take off. And I like that feeling of this card. My favorite Pentacles card is the King of Pentacles. So I actually did a little sort of, I guess you could call it an experiment, where I used this deck and I drew, I shuffled it, and then I drew a card to sort of represent the archetype of Divine Feminine, and then I drew one to represent the archetype of Divine Masculine for myself, and this was the one I drew for Divine Masculine. And I just really connected with the card after I drew it that way. Like, there's just something so warm about this King of Pentacles that I really appreciate and I really connect with. So that is why he is my favorite. My favorite Wands card is the Three of Wands. I like the sort of boho feeling of this card, I guess. I don't surf. I don't swim, actually. But I like that sense of adventure. You know, she's about to head out into the open water. It looks like it might be nighttime. We got the, you know, wands lit up around her, like torches leading the way. And I just think that's really cool. There's something very hopeful and peaceful about that Three of Wands card. I got a couple honorable mentions. So my first honorable mention is the Queen of Swords. I have a tendency to I really like Queen of Swords cards. I like Queen of Swords energy. And I really like the way this one is illustrated. She looks very much in charge. Like she knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants, and she's gonna go for it. She's gonna get there. She's not worried. My other honorable mention is the King of Cups. I really like the way Chrisanne illustrated cups in this deck. They all just feel very peaceful. And this is another one that, like, this person, again, just feels very in control, very peaceful and calm, and even, I just think it's really, really beautiful. So that's the Light Seers Tarot. My other one I'm going to talk about, my second one I'm going to talk about today is the Muse Tarot, also by Chrisanne. Again, this is the mass market version, but I did edge mine in this pretty, like, peach color. Again, this was try to match the back, specifically that color. I don't know what you call that color. I call it peach. I like how it turned out. It looks really weird on my camera right now, but I like how it turned out. These two decks are the first time I've edged a deck, so, you know, it was kind of a new experience, but I think it turned out pretty well. Alright, let's talk about my favorites. Alright, so favorite major arcana is gonna be, the first one is the Hermit. I like this sense of how, like, you got the footsteps down here, sense of, like, going inward and a bit of isolation, but, you know, you're sitting next to the tree sort of contemplating things, and I really, really like how that feels. All right, next favorite major arcana is actually the Devil card. And I know I've mentioned this before, I'll probably mention it again. The Devil card is always a difficult one for me, coming from a Christian background, but I like the way that this one is illustrated with, like, this sense of almost oppression up here, and then down here it's like, you know, there's a way to break free. Yeah. Don't really have much more to say on that, but it's just so beautiful. Alright, my favorite, Cups card. So all the suits are renamed in this. So you got emotions, voices, materials, and inspiration for the Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and Wands. So my favorite Cups or emotions card is the 4. And it took a while with this card. I actually drew this card, and it took a minute for me to realize that not only is there a cup here in the middle, but then this person is also on both sides of the card making up the cup. So it's like the cup is yourself, which I thought was really interesting, an interesting interpretation of this card, which is why this is one of my favorites. It's like an optical illusion. You gotta, like, really look at it to see the person on either side and the cup in the middle, and then, you know, we've got this person up here with these 3 cups. It's really cool. Alright, my favorite swords or voices in this deck is the 6 of voices. Ooh, let's see if I can get it to... There we go. So you got this, little person here. That's this person also getting ready to sort of jump off. Focus, there you go. This was another one I tend to pick favorites of favorite cards in decks because I drew them and I had like an experience with them, and this was one of those. I also just really like how this is illustrated. So like leaping off, but also, you're in good hands with yourself, I guess. Alright, so my favorite Pentacles or Materials card is the 7 of Materials. I think this card is really pretty. She's got like the fancy dress on, but the work boots. So she's, putting in the work. She's making sure that she's got everything situated. She's about to tie her shoes so she doesn't trip. And she's going along that path, and, she's gonna continue making it work, putting in the work so that she can eventually harvest. I just think it's really pretty. Alright, so my favorite Wands card or inspiration in this deck is the Page of Inspiration. For a lot of reasons, but also I like that hair. I want hair like that. But I like the fact that like the hair and this little cloud up here sort of represents that fire, that burst of energy that the page usually brings, and the sort of almost the like fool quality of leaping into the unknown, and that fire inside, sort of like when you get an idea you just can't let go of it. I like how Krisan has used the colorful hair to represent that sort of thing. Alright, and then a couple honorable mentions. The first one is the 8 of Emotions or 8 of Cups. I like this one because it seems very simple, and I think it's very interesting with like the blacked out sun here. So it's sort of like, total eclipse and how you see in that sort of environment. I just thought that was really cool. My other honorable mention is the Queen of Voices. Shocking, I just talked about how I like Queen of Swords, and my honorable mention is the Queen of Swords. This card is probably the reason I bought the deck in the first place. I love everything about this card. The prose around it, she's got just, I don't know, this look that I can only think to describe it as like a sharpness to her. I love everything about the way this card is put together and illustrated and laid out. I think it's really cool. Which is why it's one of my honorable mentions. Alright, the next deck I'm talking about is one that's newer to my collection, and it is the Unfolding Path Tarot by Athene Matua. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so I apologize if that is wrong. First of all, these backs are gorgeous. Probably one of my favorite card backs. Planning on doing a video on my favorite card backs, so this will be in that. I haven't modified this deck. I'm not sure if I probably will not, because I really like this card stock. I really like the way that this deck feels, and I can't think of a color to edge it with. Also, I don't really want to, so. Alright, let's talk about my favorites. The Unfolding Path Tarot. Woo. Sorry, I'm a mess right now. Like I said, I'm a bit rusty on this. It's been a while since I've recorded a video, and I've got a bit of a new setup that I'm trying to get used to, so bear with me. I'm so sorry. We're a mess today. It's fine. Alright, so we'll start with the Major Arcana. My first one is... Why are you not focusing? There you go. My first one is Temperance. I've pulled this card a few times in this deck, and I think it is absolutely gorgeous the way that Athene illustrated. This card is absolutely beautiful with the I think these are lilies down here, and the cups and the water mixing between them. Everything about it is just absolutely gorgeous. All right, my next favorite major arcana is Judgment. This is, I think, one of my most beautiful decks. I love the way that this person's eyes are, they're not like white, but they are, well, they're like a lighter color, and it just feels like the way that this person is staring directly at you, it's just sort of this piercing gaze. And it definitely feels like a judgment card, like they're looking at you and they're weighing you. And, hopefully you come out all right from that. But I like that sense in this card. I like that feeling. I like the way that's illustrated. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And just really a fascinating card. My favorite Cups card is the Ace of Cups. Everything about this just makes me smile. It's so beautiful. The hand there making the little heart, the flower here, the overflowing water, the dove. Everything about it is just absolutely gorgeous. And every time I get this card, I smile, because how can you not? My favorite Swords card is the Six of Swords. I like how this illustration is like moving from like a darker into a lighter. It's sort of like moving away from what could be a dark past into hopefully a brighter future. There's also a little puppy right there, which is so cute. Again, everything about this deck is absolutely beautiful to me. I think this is like a watercolor, and the way it sort of all bleeds in together is really cool. Having trouble with my focus today, sorry. We'll get there, we'll get back in the swing of things. I am talking better anyway. My favorite Pentacles card is the Knight of Pentacles. And I like, one of the things that Athene did with this deck is really play around with like gender roles. There's a lot of diversity in this deck. It's probably one of my most modern decks that I have, along with Muse and Light Seers, which is why these are all in the same video. But I like it when creators don't stick to the traditional gender roles of the court cards. Which is why I like that this knight appears to be a female presenting person. I think that always gives knight and page cards especially, but also queen and king cards sort of a different feeling. And I really like this, this person sitting there with they got their little plant, sort of like, they're rooted and they're stable, and they're taking care of their plants are taking care of their home. My favorite Wands card is the Three of Wands. Oh, a theme. I did not do that on purpose. But apparently I like Three of Wands cards lately. That's interesting. Again, I don't swim, and I don't surf, and I don't do anything really with large bodies of water. But I do like that this person is on this ship and they're, sailing towards the sunset or sunrise possibly. I like the way this is illustrated with that sort of journeying out into the unknown. Again, that sort of feeling. I very much appreciate that interpretation. I got a few honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is the Death card. I absolutely love the way this is illustrated with the skull up here and the person down here. So, if it's reversed, it's the opposite way. You would think that this would be like upright, but I like that it's not. I like that this is the upright version and this is reversed. I think it's a beautiful way to illustrate the Death card. That sort of, ending and new beginning, and you got like this I can't think of what it's called now. Like the infinity symbol kind of thing going on here. Yeah, it's a pretty intense card, but I absolutely love it. My other honorable mention is the Queen of Cups. I've drawn her a few times when I've worked with this deck. I absolutely love the sense in this card of there's like a warmth and like an openness, but also like a firmness to this person. I feel like there's just this whole quality about this person that is absolutely one of the most beautiful things I think I've seen. It is so gorgeous. So those are my honorable mentions for Unfolding Path. And that is my, well, we'll say it's like my modern deck collection video. Unfolding Path, Light Seers, whoops. Goodness, I am a mess today. And Muse Tarot. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, you know what to do. And bye till next time.